How's it going, everybody? Ugh. Hope y'all are doing well. Sorry for the slight delay on getting the live stream kind of loaded. I'm having some technical difficulties, but I think we're all good as long as y'all can hear me. Okay, yep. Y'all can hear me. That is good. That is good. Yeah, we're doing a bit of a hybrid show today. We got General Hospital after show and GHMV Reacts. It'll be a short Reacts. We're just watching one video, but I think it's a really good one to watch. More on that later. It is GH related. Don't worry. Whew. Yeah, I hope you all are doing well. I hope you guys had a good Christmas. Let me know if you guys did anything fun. Sorry that I couldn't live stream yesterday. I was just going through some personal stuff. Just needed a minute, and I knew I wouldn't be myself on stream, so I was like, it's just better to do it tomorrow, you know? But I'm all good. Just had to get out of my feels, that's all. But yeah. I am so stoked to talk about GH with you guys. It's been a good 3 episodes this week so far, too. We're not going to talk too much about that because we'll save that for Sunday, which will be January 1st, New Year's Day. Call that the GH New Year hangover party while recapping this week. But yeah. I mean, lots of surprises this week. We got Andre so far and Cyrus. Last week we had Ellie. And y'all, I'm so stoked to talk to you guys about last week because of where Maxie and Spinelli and Georgie ended up. Because I was like, what are the odds? Oh man. But we'll talk about that soon. We'll just wait a bit longer for people to kind of crowd in. Hey, Angel. Just a bit more. I don't see there being too many people on a Wednesday because it's weird to do a recap in the middle of the week, but I didn't want to completely miss out on a recap of the last week's episodes just because, you know, Christmas is a special time of year. GH has its moments on Christmas too. We didn't really get a hospital Christmas, but it didn't mean it was a bad Christmas. But yeah, I'm stoked to talk about it. But let me know what you guys did over the holidays as well. I'm apologizing. As you can see, I'm kind of multitasking today. Hey, Laura. Getting my notes set up as well as the video that we'll watch after. Yeah, I hope everyone's Christmas went well. Christmas Eve, my family and I, we opened all of our presents because that's what we do. It's just tradition in this house. And we didn't do a big dinner on Christmas Eve. We did that Christmas Day more so. We saw a herd of teenage deer outside of your cousin's house. Oh man, I love wildlife. On Christmas, that's pretty special. Yeah, Christmas Eve, we watched, what did we do on Christmas Eve? Hey Nathan. Yeah, we just ate our dinner on Christmas Eve, and we kind of just, well, we didn't do a whole lot on Christmas Eve, now that I think about it. We ate our dinner, we opened our presents, and it was just like a bit of a stew for dinner. And then Christmas Day, we just kind of had a lazy day, and then in the evening we had our big Christmas dinner with ham and turkey and, some dessert. Jumping over fences and running around. Aw, I love deer. Deer and elk. It's part of the reason why I live pretty close to the mountains. It's like 3 hours drive from here, but I love going to the mountains and seeing like the elk and the deer and all the mountain goats and mountain sheep. Hey, De Havilland. But yeah, Christmas Day, we had our dinner, and then me and my mother and my grandmother, we went to St. Albert, which is slightly out of town, to check out something called Borealis, which is like this drive-through Christmas lights thing, which is why I couldn't live stream on that Sunday. It was just nice to kind of have that evening to be a family and just, be together. Never seen a herd of deer that close to the city like that. I mean, every now and then in Edmonton, you might see a deer like in the rural neighborhoods, not necessarily like downtown and stuff, but there's been deer by my friend's house, and they live close to like a small ravine, not like a big one, and even not that far from where I live, there's like a little bit of a walking trail. Probably like a 20-minute walk away from my house, and I've run into deer there as well. I was so mad too because I actually had my camera with me, but I didn't have it out, and I the deer stopped right in front of me, and I tried to slowly get it out, and then it ran off, and I was so mad because it was a deer, or a mom deer and a baby deer. Oh, I was so mad. Laura, you said, I'm going to the Lizzie Borden house to get pictures with Krampus. Nice! And I'm staying in the good rooms, not a Christmas person. Indigenous makes it feel weird to celebrate. Understandable, Laura, for sure. How old is my mother? She's 58. She's actually, whoa, wait. Am I right? Did she just turn 59? She just turned 59. Oh, man. De Havilland, you said you had a very quiet Christmas with the family. Nothing wrong with that, especially Christmas time. Sandy, you said you're in the suburbs and you get deer walking through all the time. See, there you go. Actually, during 2020, and 2021, because there was less going on, in the streets and stuff, there were coyotes appearing in my neighborhood, which was wild. I've never seen coyotes directly in front of my house. Which has made me scared for my dog, But it's been a while since we've seen. It was March or April last time we saw in the neighborhood. Do I get moose? Not where I live, but close by, 'cause since we are close to a few hours away from the mountains. You drive into the woodsy areas, you're bound to see a moose or two. But they've been pretty close to Edmonton. Glad you had a nice Christmas, Kaiwan. Must have ran away from Santa. Oh, man. Nathan, you said your Christmas was very quiet. Just you and the fam. We're at the house. Watch sports. Open presents. Nice. Ain't nothing wrong with a low-key Christmas, honestly. Ours was pretty low-key, too. I mean, Christmas Eve, I actually worked. For the first part of the day, so I worked until 5:30ish, and We had a group photo with my mall's Santa, who happened to be my ex-boss, which is hilarious. It felt like a full circle moment. It was funny. But yeah. You guys must have different deer than we do. Even the big cities get herds wandering through, especially during hunting season. I never hear about deer running through like the actual city, like downtown and stuff. But because where I live, Edmonton has a lot of ravines kind of throughout, and they all kind of stay in their sort of ravines because some of them are big enough that they can house deer and elk and things like that. But you know, because they're walking trails, they try to stay as hidden as they can. I'm glad everyone had a wonderful Christmas. Me too. I'm glad you guys seem to enjoy yourselves this year. I did too. Man, Christmas Day I'm kind of bummed because I usually watch like that Disney parade on Christmas Day, but I missed it. I slept through it, y'all. I was tired. I had to go into work early. I woke up extra early because I fell asleep early on like the day before Christmas Eve. Oh. But yeah, it was a good one. The days in between kind of suck. My work's been so busy lately. Even today sucked. Boxing Day was horrible. Alright, but since y'all are here, we might as well get started on talking about General Hospital and the Christmas week that it was in Port Chuckles. So welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH After Show. Let's get into it. Keep in mind we're only recapping last week. We can discuss, bits and pieces of this week, but we'll go into this week's episodes more in depth on Sunday, which is the first GH After Show of the new year. I can't believe it. We're already in 2023. Ruth, my Christmas was good. I for asking. I had a sparkling Christmas hat, and I had every intention of wearing it if I was going to do the live stream. But again, we made some plans in the evening, which is why I didn't go live on the Sunday. We get coyotes, straight up coyotes. Laura, they're huge. Angel, you said I'm used to seeing one or two deer on the side of the road, not a whole herd. Yeah. I mean, by my friend's house that lives by that small ravine, there was a herd. Good night to Havlin. Late 90s GH and influence in The Sopranos. Ooh. Link me to that once you have it up, Kaiwan. Alright. But yeah, let's talk about GH. Let's talk about Carly and Drew first, since that was kind of like the first thing that happened last week. Carly was in the hot seat when Drew realized that Denise, the woman with a connection to Harmony and the commune she was in, lied to him. And Carly walked in on Drew confronting her and basically had to make sure Denise didn't spill, but told something believable, which she did, I guess. So Carly's ass is saved for now. But as you can tell by this week, and a bit of last week too, Drew is extremely determined to track Willow's parents down. But again, we'll get into that a bit more next week. Brooklyn was having a hard time coming to terms of how pissed off Chase was with her. She was desperate to get him to perform with Blaze at the Gingerbread Jam at Rice Plaza. And he had flat out refused initially, saying he's done with her personally and professionally. A couple days later, on Christmas Eve, the day of the Gingerbread Jam, Chase finds out from Dante that the review board is gonna look into reinstating him again, thanks to Brooklyn's letter, letting him know that even though she sent the letter too late, she somehow managed to convince them to look into Chase being reinstated again. And so with that, Chase shows up to the Gingerbread Jam and performs his track with Blaze. To be honest, I expected Blaze's music to be a bit more edgy, even if it was a duet with Chase, who's like very wholesome, just because she has that like dark pop / like R&B, like badass R&B chick vibe to her. But I guess I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. C'est la vie. It's only a matter of time before Carly gets exposed, for sure. Like, you know, even the faces she makes, Drew's got to catch on eventually. He can't be this dumb. Oh man, but now, like, and just so you know, we're not going into like in depth for last week either, because I know y'all are kind of probably a little bit over it, and you know what happened, but we can share our thoughts about it and stuff. But let's talk about the absolute dumpster fire that was Liz and Nicholas and their big lie that has somehow fizzled, I guess, a little bit. Long story short, after arguing about it with Nick in the chapel, since Esme is clearly not the killer, which had Elizabeth feeling some type of way, Ava showed up not long after that to confront her and rip her a new one. And boy, were those scenes juicy, y'all. Oh, Kaiwan, you were saying, how does the music in old 90s goth feel? Yeah, I don't know if you're using like voice type, but I'm a little bit confused with the last part you said there. But anyway, the scenes with Ava and Elizabeth were juicy, and I did enjoy them, but I also found it a little bit strange that she brought up, you know, the fact that she at least wasn't having an affair with Finn's brother, or, you know, a brother of her significant other. Because I'm like, how does Ava even know about what happened between her and Nick and Lucky? So I doubt that would come up in the conversation with Nicholas, you know what I mean? It was just weird. And like that affair happened like 5 or 6 years before she came to town. So I was like, okay. Carly is hanging her own noose for sure. Old 90s God. With the music in Sopranos, you mean? Alright, also, Nicholas got an even bigger smackdown from his son, Spencer, once Spencer found out that Nick cheated on Ava, quote unquote, with Elizabeth, and that she was pregnant with his baby. Although, wait, I'm trying to remember. Did Nicholas tell Spencer that she's pregnant? I forget. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because I wrote that in my notes, but now I don't think that he knew, because Spencer didn't seem to know what was going to tie Elizabeth and Nicholas together this week. So maybe I had that wrong. I watched today's GH after doing my notes. Oh, you're in France. Okay. Old 90s God. Oh, okay. GH music in the 90s was fire, though. But yeah, Spencer was disgusted, thinking every time he thinks his father can't get any lower, he somehow manages to do it, and asks how he's even supposed to look at Cam knowing what his father did to his mother, who he says is vulnerable because she was just in Shady Brook, and he feels like he took advantage of Liz. I love that Spencer always puts his father in his place. I'm guessing Spencer and Cam don't know about the Nicholas and Liz affair way back when. Good point. Yeah, because Spencer was like, she's practically family, but like, although like Spencer would have been around when like Elizabeth was pregnant with who she thought was Nicholas's baby initially. Some smooth jazz guy. Okay. Jakey said, imagine if Spencer found out Esme is pregnant with Nick's baby, the fireworks child. He's gonna find out at some point, for sure. When Spencer and Ava find out everything from Liz about the truth, especially whatever happens to Nick at the end, both of them are going to be even more pissed off. Oh, for sure. For sure. Hey, Jacarius. I always do that. Oh my goodness. Hey, Albert. Good to see you here too. But yeah, since we'll talk a bit more about Spencer later, but I feel like this is a good time to bring up the fact that Marcus Coloma was in fact let go from GH. The last time I live streamed, it was only kind of a rumor at that point, but it has been confirmed he is leaving GH, and he also refused to film his final scenes as Nicholas, for health reasons, he said, and mental ones, I'm sure. I don't mean that in a bad way either. I'm sure finding out he was let go probably took a toll emotionally on him, and he probably didn't expect to be let go either from the sounds of it. We've been good, Jakarius. Spencer was a child when Aiden could have possibly been Nyx. I doubt he knew the details. I doubt Cam knew details too. True. But they weren't like babies, you know? Angel, you said, I want to know so bad why Marcus was fired. Yeah, like, it could be anything. Like, we don't know why. Which, you know, like, what led to the firing? Like, did he do something wrong behind the scenes? Did they simply think he was not doing a good enough job at GH? Or, and this is completely speculation on my part, just a reminder, guys, I'm a GH fan who live streams. I've got zero intel here. But I do wonder if a previous Nicholas is trying to get his job back. Personally, I would love to see Tyler Christopher back in the role if he is good and ready to be back at work. Strictly because I would love to see Nicholas Bechtel and Tyler act off of each other, because both of them are insanely talented. Not that Marcus isn't. I just think that I see a lot more similarities between Tyler and Nicholas. And again, Nicholas Bechtel is the actor who plays Spencer. Just ironic that, you know, Nicholas is his father's name in the show. But the only reason why I'm thinking like it could be is because the last time we seen such an abrupt firing was when this happened to Greg Vaughn as Lucky. The only difference was he found out after his final scenes that he had been let go, and clearly Marcus found out just before. So I don't know if that was the best idea, if that is the case. But we just don't know why. Just can't get used to Marcus, but good riddance. Yeah, like, see, my problem is, like, I don't know, and this goes back to before Marcus even played him. Tyler's Nicholas, at the end of his sort of tenure on GH, was being absolutely sabotaged by Ron Carlivati and Frank. They were writing him horribly, and they just kind of continued down that path when Marcus came into the role. And I think if Tyler comes back as Nicholas, or regardless who plays him next, I'm gonna need like a redemption arc for Nicholas, because it's truly ridiculous how low they've sort of dropped him. You know, like Nicholas, like there's characters that they try to redeem that just don't even deserve that redemption. Nicholas deserves that redemption because he wasn't a bad character, and to make him one has just been awful to watch. Even towards the end of Tyler's tenure, like none of it made sense back then. It still doesn't make sense that they've been doubling down now. But we do need him, Nicholas. There is a major storyline. You're right, Angel. Laura doesn't have any of her children in PC. On Soap Opera Digest, his PR said that Marcus has health issues with his recent COVID exposure. The network graciously agreed that he should not film the remaining few days of the year. But I don't know. He just I don't know if I buy that, Nathan. Only because of the way things kind of went down. Because he seemed mad, right? Like, while we were all kind of speculating, like, why, if it was just like a health reason and to not film the rest of the year, like, to like delete everyone off of Instagram and Twitter and all that, and to just seemingly flat out refuse to film his scenes. I don't know. I don't know if I just buy it like being like, oh, my COVID exposure, this is why I don't want to. he seemed pretty bitter about it. Nicholas has been falling down into the abyss ever since Emily died. Yeah, but before, at least it was just like an affair. Like, it wasn't like a spiral into like, you know, like, how did he go from that to like rigging a mayoral election, and then like keeping who we thought was Jason's identity a secret from the love of his life's family? Like, that's a stretch. That is a stretch to me. Emily should still be alive, if only. But yeah, whatever the reason, I hope that they do recast and not just like simply let go of the character. Who knows who's gonna play Nicholas in those final scenes? Whether like if they have an actor in mind that's gonna continue the role of Nicholas. I hope that they either bring him in early, or I guess use what was I going to say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was reading your comments, guys. I don't know what they're going to do with Nicholas. If they bring him, obviously they're going to have someone fill in for him, or bring in the next guy that's playing him early. Sorry, now I'm going to scroll back up and read the rest of your comments, guys. Marcus reminds me of the Nicholas that was with Gia. I had no problem with Marcus. And I know I've been talking about Tyler with previous actors, but like, what about the other guy? Scott Colton, I think his name was. Like, would he come back and play Nicholas? Because that would be interesting to me. Especially if they bring in Gia back. Because I feel, not that there has been any news on that front, but at some point, Gia is going to have to come in and sort of kind of look at Spencer and Trina and be a little bit reminiscent of that, you know? I understand I'm following the show, but why unfollow your coworkers? See, the thing is, like, on Instagram, he didn't just remove, like, the GH cast. He removed everyone. Scott Colton? Scott Colton was Nicholas. Nicholas number 2, that was with Gia. I think Scott Colton was his name back then. I think he changed his name. Like, since the show. Nicholas number 2, though. Nicholas number 2. That was with Gia. But yeah, I don't know how I feel. I guess we have to wait and see what happens with Nicholas. Like, I would hope that they don't kill him off, because it will truly look ridiculous. And to have Laura have no children on the show would be just devastating. It's either Scott Colton or Colton Scott. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Joss. We actually got to see Carly make a phone call to Jax. Not that we will be seeing him physically on the show again, but since the news of Rory's death, Carly seriously does not want Joss to be anywhere near Port Charles, since the killer is still at large, and I get that. But Joss refuses to leave town. She wants to stay in town because she needs to be there for Trina. Translation, she wants to be in town so she can sneak around with Dex. Not that I blame her. I'd be loving every second with him too. The man is beautiful. But, you know, like, I just get so mad. We see her spend Christmas Eve with Trina and the Robinsons, and as she heads back to town, her car breaks down, and who else but Dex is right there to save her and give her his jacket to keep her warm and kiss her passionately on the streets until the tow truck came. He even dropped her off at her house and stayed with her until another guard came to relieve him. And of course he was comforting her there too. I want to love these two. Like, really, I want to love Joss and Dex. But I can't, because I like Cam. I like Cam too much. Not even with her. Not even with Joss. I just like Cameron as a character. and she be doing him dirty, you know? I don't like Joss and Cam as a couple. Cam deserves better. I thought that before Joss was, you know, sleeping around or sneaking around on him. But it's just crazy. How the hell did Joss run off the road? She drives like her mom. Right? But yeah. Like I said, I want to like them as a couple. I just... poor Cam. Poor Cam when he finds out. Okay, now let's quickly talk about Trina and Spencer. Because after her Christmas Eve spent with her family trying to be there for her for Christmas, Spencer pays her a visit. He was gentlemanly enough to say he can stay or go. He'll do whatever she needs, but we know she'd be liking Spencer, which is why she didn't flinch when he devised this cockamamie plan to try and bait the killer by pretending to be together, which we've seen set into action this week, but we'll talk about that more on Sunday. I'm just so confused because they seem back on being convinced that Esme is the killer when there's proof that it might not be. And even Spencer said in the past that he doesn't think that she's the killer not that long ago, unless that was an act. But you know, like Ava told that to Trina as well. It just seems like they've gone back on thinking that it could be anyone but Esme at this point. But we know it's not Esme. And the cops are leaning towards that too. She really does need to tell Cam the truth. Preach, girl. It's sleazy what they're doing to her. Only think Joss liked Cam because Trina was starting to like him. And that's very Carly-esque. I didn't want to believe it because Jocelyn did seem nicer, but like, you might be right, girl. Like, I just, Joss. Trina be looking happy now that she can be with Spencer. Talking about today, her pretending like, oh, I have to pretend to tolerate you. Girl, you tolerate him. You like him a lot. Oh, hey. Trina is playing with fire and she knows it. But yeah, anyway, Esme basically spent Christmas Eve with a drunk Nicholas who is miserable about his life, and who can blame him? Joss is like, she's a mixture of Carly and Elizabeth. A little bit. But yeah, furthermore, there was an earring found in Rory's belongings, and it was connected to one of Ryan Timberland's wives that he murdered. The murder that Felicia had actually witnessed back in the day. The first one, anyway. And Mac and Felicia tried to get answers out of Ryan Chamberlain with Heather as his translator. I don't even know like how quickly she could have learned that. Not that he gave them any answers, because you know the deal was to talk when Ava was there. Otherwise, no deal. I loved how they basically walked in on Heather playing dress up with Ryan also. Because it was just funny. Ryan just had to sit there and tolerate it because it was like out in the open in front of like other inmates and like guards. I love it. Heather's so fun this time around. Like, I don't know if it just feels refreshed that she's being played by a new actress who's actually doing a stellar job. I know Robin Mattson just couldn't participate in this story arc because of her surgery. But I honestly wouldn't mind keeping this one as Heather. And I love Robin Mattson. I really do. But she just... I've heard... Is there an actress's name who plays her now? Is it Abby Mills or Amy Mills or Abby? She just brings this sort of like... the kind of crazy that makes sense for the character. It's not as... it's not as caricature-y. And... They seem to be leaning towards the fact that Heather might be the one doing the killings. And the way that she plays her, it makes sense to me. Whereas if this was Robin being the potential hook killer, then I don't think I would buy it as much. But I would believe it with Abby in the role. And yeah, Nathan, I do think that it's definitely a possibility. Because, you know, I guess, well, Ryan said at one point that he knew that he kept, you know, the wife's heirloom, that she left the house with it or whatever house in the cabin, that she took that, and that's what they found in Rory's belongings. So, like, it's definitely a possibility. I think it was originally supposed to be the nanny, but they wrote a way to have it be more sensitive to Ryan. I mean, you might be right. It's just I don't think the nanny is completely moot yet. Although, like, in hindsight, thinking about how Sam was supposed to look into the nanny and how it was kind of dropped, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Heather Weber could easily be the killer. I agree, Ruth. I agree. On behalf of Ryan and on behalf of Esme, because we know that the killer had already said me and mine, and if it was Heather that is doing the killings, it makes sense. What if the nanny adjacent mom come back to life? I mean, here's the thing, like, maybe Heather was the nanny. Like, I don't know. Like, because, you know, Esme is like 21, and I kind of forget where Heather had been before she originally came back in 2004. Like, where was she all that time? Was she in an institution? Or was she just kind of laying low? Like, I don't know what happened. When she didn't know Esme was her child. She did know! Well, like, she knew she had a child named Esme. The only thing that she didn't seem to know was where she was at that current moment. Right? She knew Esme. She knew she had a daughter named Esme. And she could have very well been keeping tabs to a point, but of course, you know, she hasn't really seen all the details. But, like, clearly, like, judging by her conversations with Portia and with Robert and Mac this week, like, and again, I don't want to get too much into that, but, like, she knows a lot about Esme. She knows that Esme made that sex tape, or not, yeah, Esme made that sex tape, and that Trina almost went to jail for it. She didn't know this Esme was her child. Ryan had to tell her. You know, you could be right. I could be remembering it wrong, to be honest, Angel. But I don't know, it's just, why would she have had that earring is my only thing. Unless Rory was the first. Well, no, because how would she... I don't know, y'all. I'm so lost, because they didn't have Heather contract some kind of tropical disease for nothing, you know what I mean? It seems to tie in with the killer in some way. I just think there's a lot more to the story that we're not aware of yet, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens next. But yeah, we'll see how Heather's gonna manipulate people with the fact that she knows who Esme is, and that she knows she can use people wanting to find Esme to her advantage, which we'll talk about next week, because she's trying to do that right now. I don't think the writers even know who the hook killer is. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the text message killer, in the sense that I know damn well that these writers didn't know who the killer was yet. Like, I mean, there was the partial situation where, like, halfway through this major story, the writers went on strike, and we got a new writing team for a little bit, and they kind of set the ending for the text message killer. Because at first, everyone, like, it seemed like they were going all in on Cooper being the killer. Laura does have grandchildren, Aiden, Cameron, and Jake. Those are her grandchildren. Yeah, she has grandchildren, but, like, she don't be having kids on the show, which is unfortunate. But anyway, let's move on, guys. Let's talk about the Qs. They had their Christmas Eve celebration. Monica was under the weather, of course. I swear, if we don't get some kind of statement about Leslie Charleston sometime in January, I'm going to riot, because all the excuses that they're making for Monica to be on screen and for us to not know what's up with the actors is driving me crazy. To be fair, like, they did this a lot with Anna Lee and Lila as well, the older that she got. So it could be more or less the same thing, but you know, when John Ingo started to get unwell, like, we kind of found out, right? Like, we found out early. We realized that his health wasn't doing so good, like, not long after he stopped appearing on the show. And of course they brought John back for that one moment during the poisoned water story in 2012. But yeah, earlier in the week, Willow and Michael found out that they were having a girl and told Wiley they were having a girl on Christmas Eve. Let's hope he gets to meet her. Also, before Spencer got to Trina's, we got to see him having dinner with Alexis and the girls, Dante and TJ, and actually it was them all having their lives outside of the Cassadine madness, and how they seem to be all having a good head on their shoulders is what convinced him to try and live his own life away from the Cassadines and be a good person, which translates to visiting Trina and planning to lure out the killer from hiding. Sometimes actors get ill but don't want to be tried. Jakey said, I don't know, it's not looking too good for Leslie. I hope her health isn't failing. She's not even that old. She's not telling people what's up. Yeah, I mean, it could be a privacy thing. Maybe she doesn't want all the fuss, but the reality is just not knowing kind of makes me upset. Also, side note, Christmas Eve also solidified that Austin and Maxie are going to stay broken up. I think the writers finally realized that they're just not catching on as a couple. It's okay, Jake, I understood. But with that said, let's talk about Christmas Day in Port Charles. This is my absolute favorite thing. First of all, it's very rare that we see what goes on in Port Charles on Christmas Day. We usually get like an episode a couple days before the actual Christmas Eve, that is Christmas Eve, and the next time we see the group of characters, it's after Christmas. This time we got to see Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and that in itself was kind of enjoyable to me, because again, it's a rarity. Leslie Charleston is 77. She may want to retire, and she has every right to, for sure. I just wish that something would be announced, you know. It could be health, it could be retirement, but like, I don't like that they just kind of like have her be off screen indefinitely. Kelly Tybot moved to England. I know. So it looks like we might not see Britt after all, but you know, I'm really happy for Kelly. And I hope that she leaves the door open to come in and make an appearance every now and then. But yeah, she might be gone, y'all. But anyway, let's talk about Christmas Day, because I have to mention this. I made a short about it on YouTube the day that it happened, but like, we gotta talk about it. So let's talk about Maxie. Oh, if Leslie wants to retire, just announce it like Tracy did. Yeah, exactly. My phone's going off. Sorry, guys. But yeah. So Maxie was planning to spend Christmas with Georgie, her daughter, on Christmas Day. And Georgie was with Spinelli in Portland this year, visiting Ellie since Georgie loves her too, and helped raise her. Ellie helped raise her. And we even got to see Ellie, and we learned that she is dating someone else, that someone else being Griffin Monroe, we didn't see Griffin, but he called and we see his picture on her phone. So we know that it's canon that those two are dating. Will we see him on the show? I don't know for sure. But it's nice to know that he's still, you know, connected to Port Charles in some way. But anyway, Maxie's plan to go to Portland gets canceled due to the weather. So she reaches out to the Qs trying to see if she can borrow their private jet. She can, but it can't be used in Port Charles. They have to somehow get her to Canada. And Austin decides to use his shady connections to get her boat from Port Charles to Toronto without security hassle, so she can take a private jet from Toronto to Portland. Not that Brooklyn revealed who did that for her, but anyway, Maxie gets to Toronto, but the weather caused Maxie to have to land elsewhere instead of Portland. And all places in all the world that she could have landed in, she landed in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which is literally where I live right now. I heard that line from the airport clerk, and I just was like, what? I had to like rewind it back. I played it for my mom. I played it for my grandmother. It was so funny because like Edmonton is not a popular city in Canada. Okay, like when I feel like when people outside of Canada think of Canada, they think of like three places. They think of Toronto, they think of Vancouver, and they think of Montreal. They don't think about like Western Canada. You know what I mean? Like Alberta, Edmonton. Yeah, I was surprised to see Ellie too. I was really happy to see her. She looks great, but yeah, it was a pleasant surprise to see Ellie. I hope that relationship is worth moving to England for. Yeah, I hope so too. She seems really happy though, and I think that she's doing this for herself. And Kelly has always struck me as like not afraid to take a chance on life, and I think that's what she's doing there now. And I was surprised to see Elliot after only hearing about her off screen for years. It's popular now. Immediately thought of you when they said Edmonton. Yeah, right. Like, I it just threw me for a loop, Jake. I was like, what? So you know, Spinelli and Maxie and Georgie spent Christmas in Edmonton, Alberta, with me, you guys. But yeah. Anyway, so that's what I forgot to mention is that Spinelli and Georgie tried to make their way back to Port Charles and ended up stranded in Edmonton, Alberta, too. So Spinelli and Maxie and Georgie, they all spent Christmas together in Edmonton, which is great because I'm a Spixie fan, so it warmed my heart. From the roof, famous part of France from more the Midwest side. I feel surprised every time film and TV mentions Kansas City. Oh man. But at least with Kansas, everyone kind of straight away thinks of like Wizard of Oz, you know? In that sense, like that kind of put Kansas on the map a bit. But like the only thing that people know about Edmonton is about like the West Edmonton Mall, because it's like one of the biggest malls in the world. And then not much else. Are you talking about Heather Still, Ruth? Yeah. Yeah, Abby Mills is a good actress. But yeah, so those were the highlight of the Christmas Day episode for me. But they weren't the only good Christmas Day scenes either. The Quartermaines were planning on having a low-key Christmas, but there was a snowstorm in Port Charles the night before, and it caused a lot of road blockage and delays. So pretty much everyone and their mother somehow ended up at the Q's that day. From Molly and TJ to Cody to a random heavily pregnant lady dressed up as Mary, because she came from, I guess, like a, what do you call it? Nativity scene that they, I guess, performed on a day where it was hard to get anywhere, and it made little sense. But it led to some entertaining scenes. Olivia had to get super busy in the kitchen, make dinner for a whole lot more people than she planned. And supposedly, whatever Olivia cooked sent the pregnant lady into labor. And thank God Cody still has Britt's number and Austin was beside him. And also that she just so happened to be at the garage where Sasha and Sunny just so happened to be working on fixing Brando's motorbike since he had wanted that done before the new year. And Sasha seen it as a way to honor him. They fixed it just in time for Britt and Sasha to drive it over to the Q's so that Britt could deliver the baby, because it was neither Austin or TJ's expertise, even as doctors. So she and Sasha got on the motorbike. I'm assuming Sasha drove it, which makes her so badass and cool. And they destroyed Monica's begonias as well, as Britt said. She's like, sorry about the Monica's begonias, but I heard that there was a baby that needed to be delivered. Britt coming in with the clutch, y'all. All the B characters ended up at the Q. Exactly. All the characters that don't really have much to do elsewhere in Port Charles. Cows every day on my way to high school, but come on, the farm was right across the street from the McDonald's and Taco Bell's and the gas station. Come on, I'm a little bit confused as to what you're saying. Statues adopt a baby. Like, I don't... What do you mean? But yeah, so Britt delivered the baby, and the girl was gracious enough to name the baby after Britt, naming her Britta Noel, which is actually quite a gorgeous name. That's a sweet name. And it made Britt, you know, her heart grow 3 sizes that day. Much like the Grinch. It was just nice to see. We also got to see Liz spending Christmas with her boys and Scott, though we didn't see any of the boys apart from Cameron. But we did see that one of the boys, either Jake or Aiden, threw a snowball at him. Laura stopped by too, and as much as it was still stinging a little extra harder than usual that for Elizabeth that she didn't have her mom and dad there at Christmas, she realized that in a way she does have parents in the form of Scotty and Laura, which I thought was adorable. I love that regardless of Scott's son and Laura's son not really being in Elizabeth's lives anymore, she's not lost them, either of them. Like, Laura has always been there for Elizabeth from the jump, whether she was dating Lucky or not. And Scott, you know, quickly made her realize that once Franco died, that he wasn't going anywhere either. And I loved that. I think while it's nice to have biological family be there for the holidays, it's not everything. Like, it's just wonderful to have your chosen family around too. And I got to spend time with both my biological family and my chosen family, which is really nice this year. Sasha adopted baby. I mean, I kind of hope that she doesn't, just because she needs to mourn her baby and Brendel properly, and I don't want her to do anything so, too quickly. I think that Sasha is holding her own. You know, like, this could have easily drove her to drugs, you know what I mean? It could have easily done that for her. And she's holding it together pretty well, all things considered. But yeah, that was kind of GH in a nutshell last week. Not much else to talk about. Like, I know I left certain things out. Like, I know that we see Nina and Sunny at some point, but not that important. But yeah, I kind of covered all the sort of major plot points there. I think also what was I gonna say? I forget if Gladys on her BS with gambling child. Yeah, I know. We can't really talk about that too much this week because it happened this week. We'll talk about that on Sunday's GH after show. But yeah, Gladys Gladys be making poor choices, and it's clearly gonna bite Sasha in the ass. Especially because Sasha thinks everything is going so well with them. Yeah, it is unfortunate. Randall's mom is gonna screw Sasha financially. Girl. I guess Mike's gambling problem has now gone to Gladys, which is unfortunate because somebody's gonna have to dig her out. But yeah, what did you guys think of GH last week? I enjoyed it. I liked the Christmas episodes. I love when GH gets a little bit cheesy. I do miss that, the GH Christmas party. But with Monica not there, it would be weird to have anyone else read it at that point. But yeah, it was a good week, and this week so far is so good too. Definitely intrigued to see what they're gonna do next. Now, before we end the stream, because usually we would just end it after the recap. Since it's a Wednesday, I think that we should react to something GH related, even if it's just one small clip. Ms. Wu making more moves than Sunny, better moves than Sunny. Yeah, for sure. And I'm actually really intrigued on where that meeting with that guy went with Sunny. I know I said we're not going to talk about it. We'll talk about it a little bit. But like I said, we'll go into more depth on Sunday. But the guy that came in to have that meeting with Sunny looked weirdly similar to Dex. Am I the only one that thought that? Like, he could easily pass for Dex's father. And Dex, he seemed to know a little bit about him. And kind of came up with the excuse like, oh, we military men know other military men. But that's BS. I'm gonna say that guy's his dad. But yeah, before we go, I didn't really have a game plan originally for the live stream for GHME Reacts. But this one popped up today, this video. It's not an episode of GH, but Stone Cold and the Jackal, they posted their favorite memory with Sonia, sorry. And I thought it would be cool to watch that together, because I think it's from, they do like a live stream every now and then, Steve and Bradford, on like their podcasts and their other social media outlets. Sometimes it's on Patreon, and it's not some things that people that don't pay Patreon can see. But I'm assuming they posted it because of Sonia's death and just wanted to share memories with her. Yeah, we are watching the clip. We're watching GH related content, but it's not a classic clip. But that's what we're watching. So let me shrink me down to size. There we go. I had that video on my watch later. Well, we're watching it now, Angel. We are watching it now. We're watching it together. But yeah, let me mute my mood music. And let's remember Sonia a little bit more. And put this video up. We'll watch that together. Let me know how the audio is, guys.
Friends, it's Epiphany on General Hospital. We have the wonderful Sonia Eddy with us. Sonia, my dear!
We'll get you a mic, Sonia. Hold on. I just want to make
So
sure.
corny.
I want to make
Taking
sure.
all my liquids with me as well.
I want to make sure that.
I wonder if Jason comes back, they're gonna hide his tattoos.
Oh, thank you.
If he ever comes back, I
As the
mean.
queen
Queen should be announced.
As the queen, baby. She's the queen.
Oh my goodness, she's the
Okay.
best.
Sonia is the queen, yo.
This is how Johnny Carson.
May she rest. I'm
This is-
still so sad about
This
this.
is not how Johnny Carson started at all. So, first I gotta say, because we've worked together for a long time, and
it really is like one of the highlights that I have.
Really?
Yes, Sonia.
Thank you.
Dude, how much fun do we have
Way too much.
on the set all the time?
Way too much.
Every time.
I keep telling people they have no idea how funny you actually are.
Funny looking.
Well, there's that too.
Looks aren't everything.
Oh,
Hey.
you funny looking, but he smell good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you smell good.
So you're one of those people that likes Axe body spray.
Well, it's all right.
It's
You know,
all
as long
right?
as it's
Such a
not
bird.
overly cloying, I'm good.
Right,
Oh, I
sure,
like
sure,
it.
sure, sure.
But I
As
just
long as it's
Mine
not
ain't gonna
reaching
lie, I
out,
use Axe body
slapping
spray
me in
too.
my eye.
Right, right.
That's
But
true.
not this,
No,
not the
I just
crazy
wanna
smelling
tell you
strong
because
stuff, and I don't marinate myself in it
we've been friends
either.
For a long time, and so.
Well, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
You know, and you're one of my favorite people. So
Is the audio okay, guys? Let me know.
I don't know why.
Me neither.
I really don't understand why, but
We
okay.
have fun,
And
we
then,
have
you know,
fun.
Bradford's a close second.
Thank you, appreciate
And
that.
he's actually a 1A, so.
A 1A, I
A
appreciate
1A.
it. Thank you.
I, have
thank you,
to,
thank
I
you.
got to give you, you know, the extension on the 1. because
Love
you're
Jason
quite a
Epiphany
few.
scene. So did I, Sandy. So did I.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
I think that's maybe the highest compliment I've ever got.
Damn,
would've
man.
said
I think he would have to cover his tattoos.
Oh,
Jason
thanks.
having
Well, no, I
tattoos
mean,
would be so
like,
weird.
Even my kids know I'm
Surprised
a
Steve got tattoos.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, he got it right after
So was Robin.
his wife
and he's a superhero.
And he's
Left.
a superhero.
Is
Who
he?
would Batman be?
Can't really hear. Okay, let me put it up a little bit
Somebody's
louder.
got to carry the belt.
He
I'm
doesn't
just
have
saying.
his own show, does he?
Nope.
Well, okay.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
If you're gonna put it that way,
He had his own movie.
he had his own, no movie, no car, no nothing.
Robin.
No, that never was sang. by
Ice body spray
anyone.
is such a turn on.
Not even in a distant fantasy. It'll be
This
good.
guy
So,
just
folks,
learned about moisturizer. I've been telling him
What?
for years, and I
with your complexion, and you just figuring out about
I
moisturizer.
know.
Yeah, I know. The makeup girls would get mad because I would literally wash my face with a bar of soap, and they're like, "What are you doing? What
Steve,
are you
Steve,
doing?
Steve.
I'm taking care of it now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 70. I look
Dude.
good, dude. Come on.
You are so lucky that you are not crispy critter type.
Dude, I'm so red right now. Look,
Well, I mean, I was not
Can-
gonna say nothing. I
Oh.
thought it was the whiskey.
no.
Because you are really giving that cup competition. You're about to fade into the background, just nothing but hair
Dude,
and blue eyes.
First of all, I hate this room.
Yeah, this room is not great for you, actually.
It's not great.
Doesn't that make you sweat? Okay. Okay.
If it was blue, it'd be a better room.
Well, then we'd lose your eyes.
Wow, that's true.
Rose wants to know who was your role model.
Ooh.
If you had a role model growing up.
Steve seems so Christian that he wouldn't have tattoos. Hey, I know like
This
complete
is gonna
like
sound like corny as-
diehard
yeah,
Christians
but
that are
my
covered
role
in
model were my
tattoos.
parents.
and that are tattoo artists
thank
as well.
God. That's
Actually,
wonderful.
No, I mean,
That's
I didn't-
amazing. I hope my kids say that.
They were my parents. My parents were my best friends.
Dude,
You
I'd
know,
love to hear this.
That's
My
wonderful.
parents
I think some of you can't see that comment because I'm looking. I
The
can only see
epitome
that
of
comment
what
from Angel on
you strive to do.
OBS
That's
and not
awesome.
on YouTube.
And they made sure that we were secure,
Mentioning religion
we were
taboo,
secure,
apparently.
And they made sure we had the tools we needed to deal with the world.
Hey.
Dude, that's incredible.
So I have to. I never looked at. That was why I find it strange when people talk about role models and stars
Yeah.
and stuff. You know, or
Right,
the
like-
public figures.
Sure.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And you can only wash your skin, your face with Dove sensitive skin
That's why I
soap,
try very
warm
hard
water.
to make sure that when I go home and
I use something called Gentology.
Will mom and dad be proud of what I did?
Just because
today?
my skin,
That's
like,
awesome.
it gets irritated
And
easily.
If I could do that and I don't flinch, then I'm good.
Your eye doesn't twitch.
Yeah, I don't have
That
like
was amazing.
flashbacks. And
That was amazing.
All right.
So we just had a podcast with Michael Fairman, and we're saying how kind of the shows, you know, are missing the boat with doing this digital thing, right?
Mhm.
Like you could do before I left, we could do you and I in a digital series.
Yeah.
You know, and we always bring up you. Like anytime someone goes, "Hey, who would you bring as a live guest on the road?" I go, "Sonia," and they're every time,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Every time. And then we like, "Who would you have in a digital series with you?" Sonia. Like, can you
you
imagine?
are
us-
lying, but
No,
that makes
no,
me feel good.
but they know I'm not lying.
No, it's true.
They know I'm not. They know I'm not lying.
You
Because
break
we
out
always
easily?
say, we're like, can you imagine us, all three of us, on a stakeout?
Do you have any idea?
Yeah, mine too, Angel, mine too.
Oh my God!
Right?
Would it be the best?
I would love to be on a cop show with y'all.
Oh,
That's what
dude.
I know. I know.
So it would be amazing.
I would love that to happen. For us to be like 3 FBI,
Oh,
yeah.
you know,
well, don't make
inspectors
yourself
or whatever.
FBI yet. Calm down. Okay. Don't make him happy.
No.
Well, that would be special.
Or me.
Well, you're the one we got to worry about.
That's true.
Don't be taking
Listen,
this off.
here's the great thing. Well, we would all be in a van together.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
And that's all you need.
And there you go.
In a van.
And the hijinks
Down
down
by
the
the
river.
river.
Oh!
Yep.
Uh, they probably can't show what they were singing. Oh my goodness. Aww. Yeah, I'm sure whatever they were singing was copyrighted, so that's probably why they didn't show what they were singing. Oh, we love you, Sonia. Aww. That was so sweet. That was too sweet. But yeah, there we have it, folks. Let me just grow me back to size. Oh, I adore her too, Jake. I really do. There we go. Mood music back on. Ruth, I don't think I'd want a Monica recast. I think Leslie's been on the role of Monica since the 70s, and to, if it is a health thing and they, I don't think Monica is necessarily necessary on the cast, but she's more than earned her spot, you know what I mean? Like, and I think, she's at the age, while she is still young in comparison to some of the GH cast members that still appear on the show or appear every now and then, should the worst happen to her, I wouldn't want a recast to play her at this point. Because I think that Leslie would deserve more than just, a mention. Because if the character's still there, but the previous actress died, we're not getting a tribute. Or not much of one anyway. So I think if the worst happens and Leslie passes away, the character should go with her. But yeah, on that note, I think we'll wrap things up here. But before we do, next week, it is the new year. We are in 2023 next Sunday already. And it's going to be, more of the same. We're going to do General Hospital After Show live streams on every Sunday. And GHMV reacts on Wednesdays. Although I think that this next Wednesday, I think we're all just going to hang out. Before I make a real game plan. I think we'll just do like a chill hangout chat. We can talk about each other's New Year's and, our hopes for GH in the new year and just, things like that. I suppose we could, I don't know. Maybe watch some New Year's related content on that Sundays or on that Wednesday as well. But I truthfully, I just want to have a hangout chat and, just be with the group to kick things off kind of in a low-key way. And then we'll dive into, reactions more so. The further time goes on. Just explain where Monica is. Well, I mean, the Christmas episode, they said that she was under the weather and upstairs. So, they've written her as being in the house. And Monica did say she wanted a low-key Christmas, but, according to Ned and Olivia, talking about her when she's upstairs. But yeah, they need a more permanent answer. Just send her out of town, do something. Like, say she's retired. Like, if they don't want to like have her be a doctor on GH and running around and doing whatever, then like just have the actress retire or have the character retire and send her off to Florida. But at least give some kind of explanation that is more long term if it's going to be like this. I think the Hook will strike again this week. Probably. I think that the Hook will show up at the New Year's party. And of course it will tie into Esme just so happen to be escaping Windermere, because we know that she has a plan with Demetrius or whatever the bodyguard's name is, because he's a chump and getting played pretty easily. But yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching the live stream. If you liked it, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. We're getting a little bit closer to 900. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 next year. Not by like January 1st, but I mean sometime next year. That'd be cool. But yeah, we'll catch you guys this Sunday. We're going to talk about the week that was this week on Sunday. And again, Wednesday, live stream, hangout, chill sesh. We'll talk about our future wants for GH and all that good stuff. So yeah, I will chat at you guys later. Thanks so much, guys. Mwah. And since I won't see you till next year, Happy New Year. I hope you guys celebrate and have a ball. Peace out. Bye.